Here is a 15-minute, continuous storytelling version of Aladdin and the Magic Lamp, written entirely in smooth, fluent English, in the tone of a warm, captivating narrator telling the story to an audience. If you are sitting comfortably, let me take you on a journey far across the desert sands, past bustling markets and whispering palm trees, to an ancient city where our tale begins. And there, in that sun-drenched city, lived a young boy named Aladdin. Now, Aladdin was clever, energetic, and full of dreams, though if you ask the townsfolk, they would tell you he was also somewhat mischievous. He spent his days darting through the busy marketplace, laughing with friends, and imagining great adventures beyond the horizon. His mother loved him dearly, though she often scolded him for not helping more at home. But destiny has a way of finding even the most unlikely heroes. One afternoon, as the golden sun dipped low, a mysterious stranger arrived in the marketplace. His eyes glittered like obsidian, and his robes flowed like dark smoke. He watched Aladdin closely, too closely, before finally approaching him with a thin smile. "My boy," the stranger said, "I am your long-lost uncle. I have traveled many miles to find you." Aladdin blinked. He had no uncle, but the man spoke with such confidence, such persuasive sorrow, that the boy hesitated. Before he could question further, the stranger placed a heavy hand on Aladdin's shoulder. "Come," he said, "let me show you a place where treasures lie forgotten. Help me, and you will never know hunger again." Curiosity won. It often did with Aladdin. The stranger led him beyond the city's edge, toward a lonely desert plain where the wind sang against the stones. There, he drew a circle in the sand and muttered strange words in a tongue Aladdin had never heard. The ground trembled, a crack appeared, and slowly the earth opened to reveal a stone staircase descending into darkness. "Go," he commanded. "Fetch me the old brass lamp you'll find inside. Touch nothing else. Bring it to me, and your reward will be beyond measure." It was only then that Aladdin sensed danger, but by that point he was already descending the steps. The cavern below glowed with an unnatural light. Jewels sparkled from every surface, emeralds the size of walnuts, rubies flashing like hearts of fire. Gold spilled like rivers across the floor. It was a sight to steal one's breath. Aladdin was tempted. How could he not be? But he remembered the warning. Touch nothing. Carefully, he stepped across the gleaming piles until he reached a dusty alcove. There, sitting on a plain stone pedestal, was the object he sought. An old, unimpressive brass lamp, the kind one might overlook in a junk shop. Strange, he thought, that such a man would care for such a thing. He tucked the lamp into his robe and made his way back. But as he neared the entrance, the stranger's voice echoed down with feverish urgency. "The lamp! Give me the lamp first!" Aladdin hesitated. The stranger's greed was suddenly unmistakable, and that hesitation was enough. The man snarled and with a furious gesture sent the rocks sliding back into place. The entrance slammed shut. Aladdin was trapped. Fear rippled through him. He pounded the stone, shouted for help. Nothing. In desperation, he sank onto the cold floor. His hand brushed the dirty brass lamp. Thinking to clear some dust, he rubbed it absent-mindedly. And then, a roar of wind, a burst of brilliant light. The cavern trembled once more, but this time with something alive. Before him rose a towering figure of swirling smoke and shimmering colors, with eyes like twin stars. "I am the Genie of the lamp," boomed the voice, filling the chamber like thunder. "Your wish is my command." Aladdin could barely speak. A wish? 3, the genie corrected proudly. 3 wishes for the one who holds the lamp. Choose wisely. The boy, trembling, whispered the only wish that mattered at that moment. Get me out of here. With a snap of the genie's colossal fingers, the cavern dissolved into swirling mist, and Aladdin found himself standing safely back in the desert under the fading sunlight. The stranger, his false uncle, was nowhere to be seen. Aladdin hurried home, breathless, recounting the entire tale to his mother. She was shocked, of course, but when she saw the lamp and the gentle glow still fading from its surface, she knew her son had stumbled into a destiny far greater than either of them could imagine. Time passed. Aladdin used the genie's magic sparingly, but soon he found his heart captured by someone, the Sultan's daughter, Princess Jasmine, whose kindness and strength were known throughout the kingdom. She walked with quiet grace and spoke with uncommon wisdom, and when Aladdin first glimpsed her during one of her rare public appearances, he felt something inside him shift. But how could a boy with nothing win the heart of a princess? That night, with trembling fingers, Aladdin rubbed the lamp again. The genie appeared in a burst of dazzling light, arms crossed, eyebrows raised. Another wish, young master? Aladdin nodded. I want to become someone worthy of her, a prince, one who can win her heart, not with riches, but with honor. The genie smiled, for he saw goodness in the boy's heart. With a sweeping gesture, the desert wind transformed into bright ribbons of magic. Aladdin's clothes turned to shimmering royal fabrics. A noble steed appeared at his side, and trumpets of light announced his presence. Thus, Prince Ali was born. He rode to the palace, entering with grace and respect. Jasmine, curious about the new prince, soon discovered something no one else had, that beneath the luxurious clothes and elaborate ceremony was a young man sincere, courageous, and full of wonder. Their bond grew. But magic does not go unnoticed forever. The sorcerer, the very man who had tricked Aladdin, had been watching from the shadows, waiting for the lamp to resurface. When he finally discovered Aladdin's secret, his rage burned hotter than the desert sun. With trickery and spells, he seized the lamp, and the genie, bound by magic, was forced to obey him instead. Darkness fell upon the kingdom. A storm of evil magic swept across the palace. The sorcerer claimed power and demanded fear. But fear was something Aladdin refused to give. He slipped into the palace under cover of night, relying not on magic, but on courage. Using nothing more than his wits, his agility, and a deep belief that good must triumph, he confronted the sorcerer directly. The sorcerer laughed until, in his arrogance, he revealed the lamp too openly. There, in a moment of desperate bravery, Aladdin lunged, a struggle, a cry, and then silence. Aladdin held the lamp once more. With steady hands, he summoned the genie. The storm clouds vanished at once, and the palace filled with warm, golden light. Jasmine and the Sultan embraced Aladdin, thanking him not as a prince, but as a hero. Then came the final wish. The genie looked at Aladdin with a softness few had seen. One wish remains. Choose with care. Aladdin thought of Jasmine. He thought of the magic that had changed his life, and he thought of the genie, who, though mighty, lived in eternal servitude. Genie, Aladdin said gently, I wish for your freedom. There was a moment of complete stillness. Then, with a sound like the cracking of ancient chains, the genie burst into joyous light. Free at last, no longer bound to any lamp or master, but alive, whole, and filled with gratitude. He embraced Aladdin, tears in his starry eyes. You have given me what no one else ever dared. I am free. As for Aladdin and Jasmine, their story continued, one built not on illusion or wealth, but on trust, courage, and the belief that greatness can rise from the humblest beginnings. And throughout the kingdom, people would later say that Aladdin had indeed received the greatest treasure of all, not gold, nor jewels, nor even magic, but a life shaped by kindness, bravery, and love. And that, dear listener, is the tale of Aladdin and the magic lamp. A reminder that sometimes the greatest magic lies not in what we possess, but in who we choose to become. Thank you all for listening to the story. Please support me by liking and subscribing to the channel. I wish you all much happiness in life.